What's up guys, JC here with the Salty Cherry Reefing channel. Got an update here for you guys today. Got some new coral that I am excited about, as well as a couple new fish. So I'm going to share those here with you guys today and just kind of keep you posted on what's been going on in the reef tank and share a little bit of a unfortunate event that did happen here in the tank with a new coral that was added, but I'll kind of explain as we go. Welcome back guys. So today just kind of doing a little update here with the tank. Have a new fish added here that I'm really excited about. I've wanted one of these fish for a very long time and just really have never had the tank space to get it. I was a little bit nervous adding the fish after adding the purple and the sailfin. The purple in this tank has kind of asserted itself as more the aggressive fish. It is the bigger of the two tangs, the biggest fish in the tank, and purple tangs tend to be, of all the all of the zebra summit tangs that are out there, tend to be one of the more aggressive fish. So today I added a Copperband Butterfly. Well, I guess not today. Sharing with you today in this update. I added it this last Sunday, so a handful of days ago. In the initial beginning pieces, when putting the fish in the tank for the very beginning, there was a little aggression, just mainly a little chasing from the purple tang. I made sure to feed really heavy that day. I actually put a mirror by the tank as well to distract the purple tang a little bit so it take less aggression out on any of the other critters. But honestly, after about 24 hours, they basically have been good. There's no aggression towards the Copperband. The purple tang went more back to the sailfin, you know, chasing it around here and there. Nothing too crazy, between the two of them at the moment, which is good. I was a little concerned for a little bit because the sailfin did get a tear in its top dorsal fin. It has since actually healed all the way back, which has been kind of cool to see. I didn't realize how quickly stuff like that for these fish can heal up, but I guess that comes down to a healthy fish and making sure you're getting those fish fed with healthy fish foods and whatnot as well. So, but they're all doing good. They're all, I guess, in working together in the tank as far as living cohesively. I did add another fish to this tank as well, a Sixline wrasse that was relatively small, but he actually hasn't came out of hiding since then. I don't know if you guys have had any experiences with Sixline wrasses in larger tanks, if you guys have had them just disappear into the rockwork, the sand bed, and just take several days. I mean, I think right now we're sitting at 3 days the Sixline wrasse has been hiding. I haven't seen it come out for food or anything else. I've checked the back of the tank and all the surrounding areas to see if it potentially would have jumped, but I have not caught wind of anything thus far. So my only conclusion, it's still in the tank. It wasn't in the overflow or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming it's either in the rockwork or in the sand bed hiding until it's a little bit more custom. But if you guys have had any experiences with Sixline wrasses or maybe other wrasses in general just hiding for a long period of time, I'd love to hear about those in the comments just to make me feel a little bit more at ease, because I am a little worried here and there. Just I've looked it up online and it says they could be in hiding for up to a week, but I'd love to hear your guys' experiences if you guys have kept Sixline wrasses or other wrasses and added them after having some other tanks or other inhabitants in the tank. I'd love to hear feedback on that. But those are the only two fish that I've added to this tank thus far. Some of the new coral additions I am excited about. I had a little bit of a mix. Initially, I had some Monty Caps, some Zoas, so I had some softies and some SPS to kind of get the tank going. The Monty Cap has been encrusting, is getting a lot thicker on the edges. Initially, it came in, had a brown spot on it at the top portion of it, and then it's grown a ton more thick around the brim. And I've seen it start to encrust now onto the glue, onto the rock now as well a little bit. And you can kind of see that too with the smaller frag that I just kind of have sitting on the sand bed. It's also encrusting as well. So that was cool to see, just knowing that my tank is stable enough for that is good. I know they're some of the easiest SPS to keep and maintain in your tank. I do know they can sometimes tell you when things go wrong as well when it comes to like their colors. So it's a good little canary coral to kind of give you insight into how your tank is doing. But so far it's been really great with those guys. And then as far as the new additions go, I added some LPS here to the tank and actually another Zoa. So I initially added 3 torches, a Hellfire torch, Indo Gold torch, and a purple white tip torch. So unfortunately with the Hellfire torch, I put it more in the rockscape and kind of just wedged it into a hole with the plug after I dipped it. And it opened up really well after about 24 hours, and then it just started to slowly get smaller and smaller. And I have kind of pictures of the flesh on it, but I want to say that a hermit crab or something picked at the flesh and irritated it, and it kind of got inflamed, and ultimately just over the course of a week slowly kind of withered away. I did some iodine dips on it. I did 2 different times an iodine dip on it just to help with maybe bacteria, to blow off any dead flesh, and unfortunately it still did not make it. But as far as lighting, flow, everything else that's going on with the tank, the parameters, everything else is in a good place. Everything's been stable. There's not been any swings. So I have no other reason to think other than maybe potentially a pest, or like I said, kind of a hermit crab picked at the skin and caused it to get irritated. And because it was so new to the tank, didn't recover like it should have. So, but the Indo Gold torch and white tip purple torch, I've been doing awesome. It's still kind of early in these videos that I have in the morning, so they're not quite fully all the way opened up, but they're definitely opening all the way up, looking really good. I have noticed that the Indo Gold torch has maybe lost a little bit of its gold color from when I picked it up from the previous owner. Part of me thinks, you know, because those torches can sometimes really like highlight and really like you know, to really pull those gold colors out of it, you know, getting a little bit higher par. I have my lights all set at 20%, and I was just starting them low. And so my plan is to ramp those up over time. So I'm not too concerned with the color loss right now because I know I can get that color back. I'm more concerned with just creating a stable environment. And then as time goes on, kind of starting to ramp those lights up, you know, for, you know, a period of time. So since then I have ramped them up to 25%. And I'll probably do 5% increments, you know, over the course of several months. So I probably won't up it another 5% until a month from now, just to see how the corals respond, how they're doing, and make sure that it's not going to be anything too shocking to the corals itself as well. So, but those are like those. And then another coral I've always wanted, just for whatever reason I haven't tracked down and been able to get in my other tanks, is the Space Invader Pectinia. I got it here as well. It's been doing really well. I have it glued to the rock on the opposite side of the torches, and it's just been puffy. At night I see its feeder tentacles coming out and doing its thing, so that's been really good. I'm excited to see that grow out because I do like the look of those bigger colonies when they, you know, because they're all kind of bush and a bigger bush branch shaping look to the tank, and just the green and yellow colors on it are awesome in my opinion. So that one, and then the other coral that I did add to the tank as well is a Zoa. It's probably one of my favorite Zoas that are out there just because of how bright and vibrant it is, and it's the Utter Chaos. I know lots of people are always after these corals. They can get really big polyp heads in certain conditions. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller. Right now I just have them down at the bottom of the sand bed, and my plan is I got a bunch of rubble, dry rock that I have in the sump that I'm going to let kind of cure over time, that I've already kind of prepped and cleaned, and now it's in there kind of helping build, because I got a light amount of rock on the top. I figured it would be good to have some more rock down in the sump to help with you know, just that biological filtration here within the tank. So I got some small pieces of rock down there that, you know, my goal in the future is probably to put some of those Zoas on or next to, so that they can grow and encrust over top of them, because I really don't want to put them on the rockwork, because again, I do like my SPS, my acros. I do have a plan to get a good amount of those guys here in this tank. So I want to make sure I got plenty of space for some of those corals that I am excited to put in there and get in there as well. So, but as far as the tank's going, it's been great. My phosphates have bumped up a little bit when I added the dry rock. My skimmer went crazy. I know in a previous update I mentioned that I was having a tough time dialing in the Red Sea reefer, or excuse me, the Red Sea skimmer, and it was like probably 2 or 3 days after that I felt like it just broke in and it started skimming really dark mocha colored skimmate, and it was doing great. But as soon as I put all that rock in, it wasn't that the water level raised, because it didn't raise anything in the baffle that is sitting in the sump. But I think it's just all the inorganics that potentially were on the rock, or dust, or whatever it might have been that was still remaining on that rock, were just causing it to go crazy. So I had to lift the skimmer up probably about 4 or 5 inches, so it was just barely in the water, but it was off for like 2 or 3 days. So my phosphates jumped up to 0.23 when they were sitting at 0.05, which I'm not too concerned about that. My algae hasn't been too crazy. It is a little dirtier, but I associate that more with the new tank syndrome, and just kind of those first 3 or 4 months having kind of more like that ugly tank look. I know as the tank stables out, that'll go away. I know coralline algae will start to come in and work its way in its place, but I'm still doing my due diligence to make sure I got good inhabitants in there to maintain and manage those things. That's why I was really trying to get some tangs early on in the tank, and getting some of those Tectus snails in there, and they've been doing a good job as well. I might get another 2 for this side of the rock and another 2, because I have them split 1-on-1 right now, and you can definitely see where they've hit the rock in the areas that they've been cleaning. But I think another 2 on each side would keep it quite a bit cleaner as well. So, but as far as food I'm feeding for the fish, is primarily frozen brine shrimp and spirulina, brine spirulina. The cool thing with the Copperband is I know there's typically issues when people get Copperbands getting to eat food, or to any frozen food or anything of the sorts. He actually was eating frozen food at the fish store, which is really nice. And so when I got him in the tank, it was probably 6 hours later. I did some feeding, and I basically broadcast fed some of the tank, so all the fish went over there, and then I just took a little turkey baster and blasted some towards his way, and he just kind of chilled out, ate the brine shrimp, and that was a cool sight to see, because that was one of the things I was worried, is if he was too stressed he wouldn't eat or any of that kind of stuff. But if you can get your fish eating as earlier the better in the new tank, just getting them well established, and taking away some of those stressors, you're gonna have a lot better time with those fish that you do add to the tank. So overall, it's been kind of a good experience these last few months, aside from the torch. But like I said, there's nothing really with the tank from my point of view, from everything, all the testing I've done, everything I'm tracking, what I'm doing on that front. I keep calibrating my salinity meter to make sure it's spot on, so that way when I am testing my water, that's the first thing I usually check. I did have to replace my DI resin in my RO unit. I noticed my TDS was starting to climb, and that could be another reason that contributed to phosphates. If I was auto topping off with water that had a higher TDS, that could increase the phosphates as well. So I did get a new DI resin. It dropped the TDS down, probably it sits around 1 or 2. Here in Arizona the water's not the greatest, so I'm happy with 1 or 2. I saw it climbing to like 8, 9, 10, so getting it back down there was good. But that's one of those things you got to watch out for, is sometimes it's not what you're dosing and those things. You got to start with that initial water that you're putting in your tank, and you're topping off your tank with every day. Sometimes that water is just as important as the rest as far as like the quality of it. So but overall, update's been good. The corals have been looking healthy. There's a coral show going on here in Arizona, Bazaar Corals, here on Saturday, that I'm excited to attend and just check out. There's going to be like 22 vendors, so hopefully you can see some stuff there and maybe pick up a few things, or just at the very least meet some people and whatnot. But overall, that's kind of an update here on the Red Sea Reefer. Everything else has been doing good and whatnot. But if you've checked out the videos in the past, you're enjoying these videos, please feel free to comment, share some of your stories, subscribe, like. It all helps the channel. The goal is to kind of continue to grow this community and create content that you guys are looking for, and just keep you guys up to date with where this tank's at as it progresses, and some of the things that I'm doing to maintain and manage this tank. So appreciate you guys stopping by and watching the video, and I'll catch you next time.